What's up, you guys? Welcome back into iHeartRadio's official wrestling podcast, the Battleground Podcast. It is Battle from iHeartRadio, and AEW is taking over the Wolstein Center in Cleveland this Wednesday night for Fright Night. And this guy needs literally no introduction, especially after what happened last week on Dynamite.
I mean, maybe they might not recognize me.
Give it up for Kyle Fletcher. I mean, yeah, the new haircut, the new look, the new you.
That's it.
Let's go ahead and just address the elephant in the room. It's been a minute since we've last talked with you, and I got to talk about it, and everybody's talking about it. You cut a promo that has been blowing up online. Some people are even calling it life-changing. Then you go in and you hit that exclamation point at the end by shaving your head.
Mm-hmm.
Take us through it. How did you decide to go that route? I know you're wanting to get out of Ospreay's shadow. Was there more that you wanted to say inside that promo that happened on Wednesday Night Dynamite?
Yeah, of course. I think it was, you got to think about it. That was years possibly of pent-up frustration coming out. I think obviously when that's the case, I had a million things I probably wanted to say, a million things that I probably forgot to say. But yeah, that was, you nailed it. The reason behind it was it was almost me shedding the comparison, shedding the skin of Will Ospreay, shedding that stink, and coming into this new era of Kyle Fletcher where I can stand on my own and be my own man.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you got some good company alongside with you with Don Callis, which anything that Don Callis is a part of, it always touches gold and it gets you up higher in front of everybody. And you know, you made that statement very clear that when you came into AEW, you were in, and I don't want to like harp on this, but you were in Ospreay's shadow. You were the next Ospreay is what the IWC was going in. And we would watch it and you're like, okay, we could see that.
Yeah.
But then you start slowly coming into who really Kyle Fletcher is, not Ospreay from Temu over here, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
right?
That's it.
So what is it? What was that final breaking point where you're like, I'm Kyle Fletcher. I'm not Ospreay 2.0.
Right. So it was very hard because, like I said, Ospreay kind of laid out the trajectory for me. He was a man that I looked up to for a very long time. And looking at his trajectory, what he did with Okada, what happened between him and Omega, he laid out the best way to get out of someone's shadow. And I started hearing it. I left New Japan because I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet. I didn't want those comparisons. And Ospreay followed me here. He, as soon as he got here, tried to put me back in his shadow. And there was a long time where I was convinced there was another way, where I wanted to believe there was a world where I could reach my fullest potential and still have Ospreay as my brother. But obviously a few different instances. I think the final straw being the tag team title match at Grand Slam. I was willing to do whatever it took, and Ospreay wasn't. And that's what changed with Ospreay. That's when I realized that he cared more about what the people thought of him than me, than his family, than his own brother, than winning the tag team championships with me. And then even still, I had those few weeks of conflict where I wasn't sure what the right thing to do was. I wasn't sure whether to stand with the family or to stand with my United Empire brother. But ultimately, I realized what was best for me, and that's the route I went down.
Yeah, and obviously it seems like it's the great route. I mean, again, go back to it. The promo you cut on Wednesday, everybody's talking about it. It's like every other video on my timeline, whether it's on X or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this for you now. I'm giving you your flowers in person.
I'll give you a bow or two.
Yes, and of course, AEW is taking over the land this Wednesday night. It is Fright Night. You can still grab your tickets, allelitewrestling.com. Now that you're on this singles run, and I'm going to go ahead and just move past Ospreay. We're going to go ahead and put him in the rear view. We're done with that. You've already beat him. You're going to beat him up, whatever.
Of course.
What's next on the radar? Like, what is the next thing that Kyle Fletcher wants to achieve after putting Ospreay in the past?
So, with my wrestling career, I have done my best, I think, it's an industry where opportunity meets preparation. You never know when that opportunity is going to arise, so you have to stay prepared for it. Right now, I'm consumed with Ospreay. I know that my end goal is best of all time, multiple time world champion. I know that's where I'm going to end up, but I don't know what the path to get there looks like yet. All I know is the next step, and the next step to that end goal is putting Ospreay in my rear view.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And we'll even see if Ospreay shows up this Wednesday night in Cleveland at the Wolstein Center. I mean, who knows? You called him out Wednesday, didn't show up, and you laid down the gauntlet. So it's going to be interesting. Again, grab your tickets, allelitewrestling.com. Now, when you think of Kyle Fletcher, of course, you always got to think of the Aussie Open. Great tag team, I will say that. One of our favorites. And everyone's kind of wondering. I know Mark is out right now, and you've said in past interviews you're going to leave that up to him to talk about when he's ready to come back and whatnot. But once Mark does come back, are we going to be able to see an Aussie Open reunion, or are you just content right now with just being Kyle Fletcher on his own?
Look, I am more than content being Kyle Fletcher. I have come into my own. I feel like this new hairdo, this new era, I'm more than focused and content on that. I think the only thing that will reveal what the answer is time. And when Davis is healthy, when he's ready to come back, I think he will need to make his own decisions. I'll need to make my own decisions. And if that ends up with us being back together in a tag team, perfect. If not, we'll figure it out. I'll do my own thing. He'll do his own thing. We'll figure it out when the time comes.
Yeah, absolutely. And once, like you said, time will decide all factors on that. We're currently enjoying Kyle Fletcher as Kyle Fletcher. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this new era of Kyle Fletcher, especially, again, going back to it, the promo on Wednesday night. You could just watch the passion and the emotion in you. And I was feeling it through TV. I know some of the people in the crowd were chanting other things. We're not worried about them. They're the IWC. We're not here about that. But just sitting there watching, and I was like, how is he going to take this to the next level? And then when you just, start doing this, I was like, and I'm going to say this because it's my show. I was like, oh shit. And I said that out loud. And I was like, this is next level stuff right here. And again, kudos to you for the promo, giving you your flowers while I'm talking to you.
Appreciate it, man.
Not doing it on social media. But the one thing a lot of people love about AEW is you've seen a lot of crossovers. AEW is willing to work with a lot of people, big collaborations and whatnot. There's always that question, is there somebody outside of AEW that Kyle Fletcher would want to take on? Like maybe a specific wrestler or maybe a promotion that is not really talked about, somebody that's not getting talked about. Is there somebody on Kyle's radar outside of Ospreay, outside of AEW?
Sure, man. I think one of the big things that I would like to do is go back to New Japan. I had a great run there. I feel like there's definitely unfinished business. New Japan is, for a very long time, was my favorite wrestling to watch. It's my favorite style. I love how it's treated like a sport there. I would love to go back. There's a lot of people I want to step back in with. I want to put Gabe The Kid in his place. I want to put those War Dogs in their place. I want to put Shingo Takagi in his place. Saber, I'd love to step back in the ring with him. There's a bucket load of people. Shout out to the Velocities making their debut in Super Junior Tag Leagues. I still hate you. But otherwise, I would love to go back to the UK. I'd love to go back to Rev Pro. Luke Jacobs is the undisputed British heavyweight champion now. I'd love to get in there with him. I want to go back to CMLL. In the Grand Prix, the last time I was there, I pinned Mystico, the greatest luchador of all time. So I think there's some unfinished business there as well. I'm sure he would like his win back, and I'd love to rip his mask off one more time. So, yeah, a lot of things on the horizon. Just excited for the future, man. Absolutely.
Definitely going to be exciting to see for sure. And you mentioned somebody you want to step in the ring with, somebody who's very vocal about a lot of people on that AEW roster, of course, is Gabe The Kid. I mean, he does not hold anything back in interviews that I've seen, stuff on social media. So I'm going to give you the opportunity, because you kind of said you wanted to tangle it up with Gabe. I'm going to give you the opportunity right now. Is there anything you want to say to Gabe if he's watching this?
Gabe, yeah, absolutely. I think he's in this bubble where he thinks he's untouchable. He's sitting behind a camera backstage in New Japan. He is on the other side of the world from all these people that he's calling out. And I think he feels safe. And I think the minute that he steps in the ring with one of those people that he calls out, he steps in the ring with me, I will put him in his place. One of my United Empire brothers, Hanare, in that crazy cage match, he knocked him out cold. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And quite personally, I would love to do the exact same thing. So when that happens, I think the world is going to rejoice, man. I think he needs it. I think he needs a little humbling, personally.
Oof, those are some strong words from Kyle Fletcher to Gabe Kid. Speaking of strong words, earlier we had the chance to catch up with Mark Briscoe, and he had some very high praises when we talked about what is the next future of Ring of Honor AEW, and he actually had this to say. I'm going to show this to you. I'm going to play this back for you.
I had a guy a couple months ago I wrestled, and he's I'd say he's probably considered an AEW guy by now, but guy that I wrestled for the title, for the Ring of Honor title on Honor Club a couple months ago because he pinned me on Dynamite was Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher is 100% a blue chip 5-star prospect, and he's just starting to really make waves and to really just show what he can do. So, man, keep an eye on Fletcher for sure.
So when you see somebody like Mark Briscoe saying that about Kyle Fletcher, how does that hit you? How does that make you feel?
I've said it many times that I think the coolest part about wrestling for me and being a pro wrestler is getting to work with the people that I grew up watching and being fans of, and having them say such nice, incredible things about me and tell me that I'm a great wrestler or that I'm great. Mark Briscoe is someone that I've known of since I was a child. He's part of one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And yeah, to hear him say things like that, it's reaffirming to me. It's like I've had this belief that I'm destined to be the best, and the things like that convince me that I'm heading in the right direction, and that's a nice pat on the back for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually had Mark on Tuesday, the night before Dynamite, and he said that. And then again, go back to it. It comes back to this promo every time. I was like, Mark obviously saw something. He said that, and then next night, boom, there it is. Kyle Fletcher cutting the greatest promo ever that we've seen with so much passion and emotion. Now, Kyle, I know your time is limited, so I don't want to take up too much of it. Last question. We know that wrestling can be very intense, both physically and mentally. You're always on the road. You're traveling. Outside of the ring, what is like your go-to thing to like unwind and recharge and keep you grounded?
So as crazy as it sounds, because it almost sounds like I do it for wrestling. I love the process of the gym and working out and dieting and working every single day in order to better myself. It relates to wrestling very well, but when I get home, like yesterday, I landed in Chicago at about 9 a.m. and I had to drive to Cedar Rapids that night. So I had half a day at home, and the one thing that I had to do was get a workout in, because that is what grounds me. That is what makes me feel like myself. Those times when I'm in the gym, I'm by myself, listening to my tunes, I'm tingling off pre-workout, I'm trying to lift heavy ass weight, and I'm trying to better myself every time I'm in there. So that is one of the things that keeps me the most grounded. Otherwise, it's coming home to my beautiful girlfriend, Sky Blue, and my 2 little kitty cats that love the heck out of me, give me kisses, cuddles, try and run up to me, try and run out the front door when I get home. That's the stuff that really grounds me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the one surprising song on your workout playlist that people would be like, wait, Kyle's really listening to this song?
Dude, I love working out to some Kesha. That is, I bop the heck out of that, bro. I love it.
Kesha's a solid choice to rock out in the gym too, for sure. Kyle, man, I got to tell you, it's always great to catch up with you. I know a lot of things has changed since last time we talked. Good things are happening for Kyle Fletcher. Even though he's with Don Callis, some people are kind of like, I think it's going to be a good fit. I mean, you're styling and profiling over there, and, you're not only going to have gold on your sunglasses there, but eventually you're going to have gold around your waist very, very soon. And
Guaranteed.
Kyle, it's great catching up with you, man, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Cleveland this week.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much for having me.